Evening, folks. It's John Pettipas. I'm making a late Sunday evening video at 25 minutes before 10 o'clock in the evening on Sunday night, which is the 13th day of March 2022. I was going to make this video later, but I got two pieces sent me tonight on gold. I, John P. Pettipas, do not like gold. If your wife was to walk out on you, are you going to shove your penis in, fellas? I don't think it's going to be too responsive. Gold, bricks of gold. Are you going to sleep with the gold? Is the gold going to talk to you at breakfast? What do you do with the stuff? It's gold. Nebuchadnezzar in the Middle East melted down everything and made this big thing that, look at the book of Daniel, that we had that in church readings not too many weeks ago. Book of Daniel, and Daniel and his brothers had no fear, and they were thrown in the furnace, and they weren't hurt. They thought they were going to burn to death and perish and go right to heaven, but God protected them from the flames. It was a miracle from Jesus. But it was all goes back to this big gold ornament. So now, gold was up the other day. Gold was up. Okay, here. My well-used $10 bill today. It was up from $1,920 up to $2,000. Yeah. Broke the $2,000 mark. So let me get my little bag of change. I should have did this before I pressed the start button on the video. So your $2,000, folks, would have made, in case a $10 bill, you'd make 10 cents on it. Well, yeah, if somebody gave me $1,980 to invest in this turmoil market, if all I could do was make 1% in these commodities, I'm not a commodities guy, but commodities, 1%, that's not too damn much. Wheat was up by, what was wheat up the other day? I think it was up, might not be by the day, but in the past several weeks, wheat is up something like 25, 30% almost. It might be off at 30. It's up, wheat, a ton of wheat is up 20, 25%. So for gold to go up 20, 25% from $1,980, it would have to come into $2,500-ish. Okay, so nickel's up a lot because they use it in making batteries, and it's in short supply. There's not been enough new mines made. So I do not like gold. Mining's always a risky, tough business, and it's expensive business, and there's all these environmentals up your case. Okay, I don't like gold. Now, there's a guy tonight on, he says, Rick Rule, I'll name by name. Rick Rule, within 5 years, gold's going to triple. Well, 5 years is 365 days times 5 is 1,800 in some days. If one's a small investor and you do your homework, it's not that hard to find something that could triple in 5 years potentially. Double for sure. If you're Warren Buffett and you have $100 billion US to invest, well, it's harder. The large numbers. But you start hunting around, you can find something that's mispriced. Okay. You can go to some town somewhere where the mill shut down or the mine shut down and buy a house or two for dirt cheap for less than the price of the basement and put it in, or probably at the present price of lumber, you could probably dismantle the house and sell lumber and get your money back. There's situations like that. Temple Ridge, BC comes to mind. Alec Lake, Ontario comes to mind. There was some place actually, you don't see this much in the United States. I think it's in Texas of all places. Somebody bought the whole friggin' town for less than a house would cost in Toronto or waterfront property in Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia, or pick a spot. Okay, this is not Malibu Beach, but New Jersey. Anyway, I do not like gold. Real gold, I think, is still fool's gold. But everybody, or most people, just gold. They do everything. They say I've heard this repeated so many times. If all the money invested in gold stocks was divided up and given back to the shareholders, if you go back the 1800s and stocks started to be traded in gold, early 19th century, they'd have more money than the stocks that actually come upon the proverbial Eldorado. And there was another video somebody sent me tonight on gold, and the guy said it was going to go up so far in 8 years. And I'm going to end this real example. It is Sunday, and I'm going to close on a religious item. On the horrific day of 9/11, September 11th of 2021, what am I talking about? 2001. Last year was the 20th anniversary. This year's the 21st. So September 11th of 2000, gospel preacher's wife was home. I know it's a great guy, very decent guy, good Christian man, was down to visit her mother in Columbus, Ohio, which interestingly is the home of Wendy's hamburgers. And she was on the plane, tarmac, and this is in Ohio. It was a beautiful, clear day. And cell phones were coming in use then. And I knew there was something I missed because there weren't the ice in the plane, and there was none to go. And it was a nice, clear day. It was no storms, nothing like that, no turbulence. A nice, clear, sunny, late summer day. And somebody's cell phone in the back of this good-sized jetliner got the news that 9/11 planes had been used to attack Tower 1 and Tower 2 at the World Trade Center. And the brave men and women, flight guys that said, "Let's roll," on Shanksville, Pennsylvania, stopped that jet from going into the White House or our nation's capital, the Dome, Congress. And, of course, another plane hit the Pentagon. Anyway, there's this big, fat fella sitting next to Fred's wife, and she's calmly reading her Bible, the inspired Word of God. And he blurts out of his mouth, "Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh my God! It's the end of the world! The end of the world! We're all going to die! End of the world! We're all going to die!" And you'll never guess what happened after that. I think I did a good dramatization there, didn't I? And that's how we did it. After, because I've been at their home for evening snacks after the gospel study meetings some years ago. And they're great people, very down to earth. And they take, and not prone to making stuff overly dramatic. We're all going to die. It's the end of the world. We're all going to die. Then what comes out of his mouth? The stock market's going to go down. Well, what in the name of God? I was going to use the F word, but being a Sunday night, I'll hold back on that one. What the name of F would you worry if the stock markets go down, if the end of the world is? Remember one time on Wall Street, loser Kaiser, gold was $400 an ounce, and he had these panels on, and the guy said, "Gold's going to $2,000 an ounce." So gold was about $450 an ounce at the time. Gold's going to $2,000 an ounce. And one of the guests, that's a pretty solid guy, an older man, looked at one of the panelists, looked at the guest and pointed his finger, which is very unusual for Robert Stovall, and he said, "Sir, you wouldn't want to be around when gold is $2,000 an ounce. When gold is $2,000 an ounce. And you might biological warfare, end of the world, nuclear war, whatever. So be careful what you wish for. The world's not going to end anytime soon. We're in a tumultuous time in history, and I'm extremely confident that a lot of stuff's happening now many of us didn't foresee, and the outcome of a lot of stuff that's on the go right now will not be what conventional wisdom thinks it will be. So we'll survive all this. There's lots of opportunities, but if I had money to invest, I would not be buying gold. Believe me. There's a hell of a lot more stuff out there. Christ, you could have had double ride on lumber. Lumber went from $400 simple lumber. You use it, okay? Can't make love with it either again, and can't go to sleep with it unless you're sleeping in your sawmill or your lumberyard or something. But it doesn't hock you at breakfast. But that said, lumber went from $400 up to what? Went to $1,600, $1,700 very briefly, went back down to $450, $500, and now I noticed last week it was up at last week or late the week before that, it was up to $1,430. So you'd have a much more exciting ride with lumber if you were a speculator than with gold. You'll wait. I can't possibly see the price of gold going to $3,000 by the year 2030. That gives me people almost 9 years, 8.75 years to prove me wrong. My personal opinion, I'd be quite surprised to see gold to go to $3,000 an ounce. And Mother of God, with a time horizon of almost a decade, if you can't find something to buy for $2,000 that's going to be worth $3,000 within 10 years, tough. With that, I got to go. Thank you very much. All the best. God bless. Good night.